Hello, welcome to Sound and Fury Book Reviews. As usual, I'm Tina. Today I'm doing a book review of Is a River Alive by Robert Macfarlane. This is a book that came out May 20th, 2025 from W.W. Norton and Company. It is a non-fiction. I received this book from Nick Elliott in exchange for a fair review. I find it hard to review nonfiction, actually, but this one had a sort of plot to it, so I'll say it's an immersive narrative following one man's journey to determine if rivers are deserving of a personhood status, what that means, and why it's important to our future. It also takes place in Canada for some of it, which was a draw for me, being Canadian. What is it about? Hailed as a naturalist who can unfurl a sentence with the breathless ease of a master angler, Robert Macfarlane brings his glittering style to a profound work of travel writing, reporting, and natural history. Is a River Alive is a joyous exploration into the ancient urgent idea that rivers are living beings who should be recognized as such in imagination and law. Macfarlane takes readers on three unforgettable journeys teeming with extraordinary people and places, to the miraculous cloud forests and mountain streams of Ecuador, to the wounded creeks and lagoons of India, and to the spectacular wild rivers of Canada, imperiled by mining, pollution, and dams. Braiding these journeys is the life story of a fragile chalk stream a mile from Macfarlane's house, which flows through his own years and days. Powered by Macfarlane's dazzling prose and lit throughout by other voices, Is the River Alive will open hearts, challenge perspectives, and remind us that our fate flows with that of rivers, and always has. So yes, this is a book about environmentalism, but it is also a bit of a travel memoir and a dive into natural history. The way it's approached, short chapters of the author's home in the UK interspersed throughout, then the three sections in Ecuador, India, and Canada, show how rivers all over the world are integral to our survival as a species as they fuel so many other systems, as well as provide us with clean water to drink, of course. If you're really into environmentalism, as I am, this is a great book because it's clear Macfarlane has an agenda to show that river systems should be legally protected, but he also has beautiful passages describing the beauty of our natural world. Along with these aspects, he also has colorful characters, or at least beefs up the interesting natures of the people he meets and travels with, so the story isn't just a bunch of facts and arguments, but has a real structure to it. The first section in Ecuador feels almost like a fantastical quest. The second is a city exploration, and the third reminded me of Lost in the Barrens, a novel from like the 40s or something, as it's essentially a kayak adventure through some of the most challenging and remote terrain in my part of Canada. I say my part because it's set in northern Quebec versus BC or the East Coast. If you don't know, Canada is massive. The kayak adventure was the most compelling for me, mainly because I live here. I haven't been that far north, actually, but I've been north enough to understand what they are talking about in terms of the mosquitoes and the black flies and how wild things are up there because there's just so much forest. I have a friend who worked as a teacher for a few years in a town that was so remote. It was an 18-hour drive, and a good third of that was on unpaved gravel roads. Like, imagine that. You leave, like, 18-hour drives, like, from Toronto, like, north from that. So that's pretty far up there. Yeah. The prose is just lovely in the book with phrases like, a half-foot-long dragonfly slips briefly out of the Jurassic era, then vanishes again, and rain-fed, the spring stream surges seaward, gravity at work, or something like longing. And mist hangs in scarves, the forest froths with sound. It really is evocative and gives a sense of mystery and ethereal beauty to our home, and I just love that. I'm not even going to get into the argument because I think it should be obvious that rivers and all nature need to be protected. How this is even a question nowadays is beyond me. I mean, I know why. It's because corporations and governments who want to control everything and want money don't care that they're destroying the environment. And that's the obvious answer. Let's blame capitalism yet again and human greed. There's a current government bill right now in my country to fast-track projects, especially mining and pipeline projects. That has me very concerned. To be clear, I didn't vote for the guy. To also be very clear, I would never vote for the Conservatives either. I voted Green, okay? And while he, Carney seems to be a step up from Polyev, now it's pretty clear he's just a conservative in a liberal suit. I find that very frustrating. He says he's going to consult with Indigenous leaders over the summer. Who knows how accurate a statement that is. I don't know. I'm beyond giving people the benefit of the doubt at the moment. I'm kind of irritated today. So I'm just like, I guess it's time for me to put my activist gloves on again. I see. I just want my kids to grow up on a planet with a biodiversity, clear water, and breathable air. Is that so much to ask? Clearly so. Anyway, great book. Yeah, I highly recommend it if you're into environmentalism, if you're into kind of river systems, if you're into kind of travel, really. Yeah, it's really, really good. And thank you so much, Nick Galley, for the e-arc. I really appreciate it.